Please welcome to the stage Harald from VS Code to talk about some of the hardest problems they've solved in MCP.
Hello, MCP. Welcome to my 2-hour live stream of live coding. Starting in 5 minutes. So we're going to talk about the 5 biggest MCP pain points solved in VS Code based on my experience from talking to different people around MCP. And I get a lot of complaints. So starting with just finding and installing MCP. It started kind of hacky with copying around JSON blobs and maybe hard-coding API keys. And it should be so much easier. Like in VS Code, now going into MCP servers, and then actually just installing them by hitting install. And that's one way to use the new endpoint that's coming up. There's a spec for the registry that makes this not a 1-click, but a 2, 3, and authenticated, done. So now GitHub is installed, authenticated, done. This is the official MCP registry spec behind the scenes that we are already adopting that's still being worked on. And when the official registry drops, this will just work out of the box and you can plug it in. Next one, we still have MCP servers, hopefully fewer in the time, that require API keys. Showing off one here without naming it, perplexity. Oh. So if you ever need to figure out API keys and need to drop them into JSON, VS Code handles them as inputs, which are then prompted as placeholders when you install them, making these a lot easier and secure to handle. And that's what MCP should feel like, easy to install and securely to set up. Now that we have all these MCP servers, the second problem hits me of how do I actually invoke them? How many have like secret incantations that they tell the agent to hit specific tools? And we all run into that with tools. They can be really well written, but in VS Code, I can still be very prescriptive about which tools I want to use in a specific agentic session by using the built-in tool picker. And then if I have, over time, accumulated these really good tool selections, I can actually put them into chat modes. And this makes context engineering building blocks that I can reuse over time. And even here, I can go in and then configure building blocks like adding the to-dos tool. And it just pops in. So let's try out this Explore chat mode. I actually have it run down here, so I switch to Explore. And then I have some open border certification quiz I want to do because this weekend I'm doing my second tour and I have to nail that quiz with my family. So it's starting actually to go out, do some web research, and then create background coding agents on Copilot PRs to implement potential ideas. So I'm a product manager. I love exploring white spaces with that, just making up ideas and having demos to play with. I already ran this a bit before. So this is the previous one, research in the end. Then my favorite one is how it built a quiz that's confidence-based with a breathing exercise that you can calm yourself down. So pretty sweet. Next problem we have is now that we have so many tools, we run into problems of how many tools agents can actually handle. And this is, I'm excited, just shipping today in VS Code. It's already shipped. It's in the latest version of handling basically unlimited tools. So even if it warns me I have 171 tools, I can still easily run my query, and it will find the right tools. And that's how it should be. Just like VS Code, you install as many extensions as you want. MCP should just scale to what you're working on and bring in the right tools at the right time. In this case, this is a developer, Apple Search Developer MCP, and it has a typical problem. The fourth problem of MCP is that it puts in a lot of context potentially from the search. And that's where sampling can help. This actually provides one of the underutilized MCP capabilities, using sampling to, after it searches, checks with me if I want to allow sampling for the MCP server, and then summarizes the search results to provide a much more condensed and a very code-focused answer. This is great for me because then I don't have to bloat my context, and I can still control it and see all the model access that this one has. Go in here, configure model access. It has access to different models here. OK, now it ran. Let me show you the other way to reduce context size. We actually support resource links, which might have been shown in a previous slide of one of the latest additions to the spec. We shipped it today in VS Code. Lastly, we have developing MCP servers. It's supposed to be an easy thing. Have anybody tried it? So bootstrapping is fun, I heard. But then once you get into the nitty-gritty of actually developer experience, it's a bit hard. And that's where VS Code ships developer mode. Developer mode auto restarts the server on changes because it watches files for changes. And then I can actually, because I already hit the breakpoint, you saw that, I have it started in debug mode, which allows me to use breakpoints and my typical tools I'm used to. So that and every server you have installed has access to logs. And I'm unsure how many MCP servers you tried to debug that didn't launch correctly, but having access to logs unlocks a magical experience. Lastly, bonus one. I'm over time, so if you ever have really deep debugging needs to understand the agent MCP coordination, you can actually access the full logs of what happens in VS Code's agents, including the tools it's using and the system prompt. So, best debugging experience in VS Code, 5 big problems of MCP solved in just under 5 minutes, or slightly over. Wow. Thank you.